What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on first take, they're going to be talking about which quarterback would you take, the New York Giants, Daniel Jones, or the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Who would you rather have, don't pick with your heart, moving forward? Danny Dimes? Kyler Murray. Oh, sorry, I won't call him Danny Dimes. You're mad about that right now.
Michael Wilbon's going to hear all that Daniel Dimes crap right now.
He doesn't think he deserves a nickname
Wilbon
yet.
and I are about to argue. This man who took me under his wing when I moved to D.C. to host Around the Horn and showed me around the Wizards facilities and introduced me to everybody. I appreciate it, but we got to go at it now. Look.
So it's not a problem for Daniel Dimes to have a nickname, Daniel Jones to have a nickname. The problem is when you start treating him like he's already won a Super Bowl and he hasn't. The nickname's not the problem. So let's continue.
We were just talking about this in the last segment and during the break a little bit. You know, but let me the kind of quarterback that succeeds out the gate nowadays is an athletic quarterback because they're expected to play as rookies, which didn't used to be the case. Sometimes as early as week 1, but early in the season. Danny Dimes, if we don't see him for 3 years, that'll be okay. Week 3. Not 3 years, week 3, he's in the game. And so that will favor college style, like quarterbacks who understand college style systems very well and are athletic. Danny Dimes, one of those guys. He's athletic. Not as athletic as Kyler Murray, but very few are.
Not even close to being as athletic as Kyler Murray. So let's continue.
And so guys like Trubisky and Lamar Jackson, I mentioned also, and guys who can outrun the linebackers, what winds up happening is they try to make them pro-style quarterbacks early, and they realize it's a little bit much, a little soon for them. So then it's one read, and they take off with the ball. That's basically what I see from Kyler Murray right now, and it's successful to an extent.
Nah, so I don't think that's what it is with Kyler Murray. I think he makes his reads, he gets through his progressions, but then he just doesn't say anything and just takes off. I don't think he's just doing one and done and then he just takes off. I think he's making it through his progressions. He makes his checks, makes his reads, and if there's nothing there, he just takes off. I think he's such an athlete that when he takes off, that kind of distracts from people thinking that he's making his reads, and he makes his reads so quick that I think people just think he's just reading one read and he just takes off, which is not the case. I don't think that's the case. So let's continue.
Win that way for a while, and especially with Lincoln Riley's influence on the pros, maybe more and more. The struggles I see from Daniel Jones right now are the kinds that it doesn't mean he's destined for greatness, but are correctable and they have high upside. He holds the ball too long because he's like processing information and figuring out what's going on, keeping his eyes down the field and looking for that vertical passing game. Like he's looking to do that. Now, at times he's got to get better. Everyone's talking about the internal clock's no good. He sees the pressure coming. He starts to roll out. He's got to know that guy is going to be there eventually. He doesn't seem to. That's a correctable mistake. It doesn't mean he's guaranteed to correct it, but it's correctable. And I don't see otherwise a real weakness in his potential, including the height, the speed, the arm, not just the arm strength, but the arm talent, the accuracy, the way he processes the info, everything. I like everything I see. And long term, if I have to bet on one or the other, even after yesterday, I'm betting on Danny Dimes.
So the problems that I see with Daniel Jones are as obviously, like they said, him not getting ready the ball, his internal timing is off. But that's the type of stuff you kind of expect from a rookie quarterback, and he's a pocket passing quarterback, so his timing is going to be a little off. And I think with him watching film and keep playing and getting more experience, his internal clock will let him know, like, look, I've been holding on to the ball to a little bit too long, so maybe let me make maybe one more read, or throw the ball away because somebody is bound to hit me at the next second or two. So I think that's going to come with the experience. They're going to have to work on that in practice of, getting his timing down, within, hike the ball and then within 1 or 2 seconds have somebody hit him and let him know, look, you're going to have to get rid of the ball quicker than that. And also having watching film and just things of that nature. I think with the experience, his internal clock would definitely get quicker, and the game will start to slow down for him a little bit, and he'll be able to feel when things like that are coming and when he needs to get rid of the ball. But overall, between the two, at this point in the game, I would probably take Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray, he's two-dimensional. I do believe that he goes through his progressions and he'll look to throw before he runs, but he's such a great athlete. He goes through his progressions so fast and he takes off and runs. He can make an athletic play that it may seem like that's the first thing that he does, but he looks to throw the rock first and and then run. As far as Daniel Jones, I can't pick him over Kyler because he's really only one-dimensional. He's only really a pure pocket passer. He can run, but he can't run like Kyler Murray. So, outside of that, he's only one-dimensional. Kyler Murray's too. So at this point in time, I have to go with Kyler Murray. But if I had to, I would like to wait until the season's over to make my full evaluation of either player. So let's continue.
I would trade my quarterback for Daniel Jones right now. So let this not sound like an indictment I'm issuing on Daniel Jones. And these two guys could be pretty close. I think they're both correctable situations. I think you have two situations where they can be coached, and they may be with the right coach. I think I would take Murray because of what we're seeing, strangely enough, with Lamar Jackson. There's an alternative. Let's just say that this, and by the way, the college influence that we're seeing, Max, I don't think it's going to go backward. I think we're going to see more of it. People are paying quarterbacks so much money. They want them to play earlier. What can they do earlier? Run college football systems. So I think that can work with Murray as well as Jones. I think these guys are going to be interesting to watch going forward. I take Murray right now by a hair. But when I was talking about Danny Dimes yesterday, the overstatement about every single quarterback that comes into the league 6 weeks into his career is what makes me crazy.
He's had one good game. I know he's had one good game.
I would take him. I'd draft him. I'd like to have him. But let's not make him sort of the savior of the New York Giants.
Yeah, but Wilbon, you would take Daniel Jones in a draft, but would you draft him as number 6, like what the Giants did? Would you take him at number 6? Because I don't know if I would. I don't know. He was never on my radar, so I don't really know. But I don't know if I would take him as number 6. But I don't know. Hindsight's probably 2020. But like I said, at this point, I would go with Kyler Murray because he's two-dimensional. And Kyler Murray seems to be doing more with less, even though, they don't have the best record. But he seems to be doing okay with the trash offensive line. And I just think he's doing more with less than what Daniel Jones is dealing with. So let's continue.
There's a quarterback in this league that I call Porn Star Jimmy. That's what I call him. All right? And it's not just because he showed up in Hollywood with a porn star. It's because other people who will remain nameless had already given him a nickname before he had accomplished anything. They called him Jimmy G. Okay? And my whole point was he didn't deserve it yet. His name is Jimmy Garoppolo. Let him go out there and show what he can do. I understand he started off 7-0, 2 games with New England, and then the 5-0 start with San Francisco after the season was over, and he won at the end of the game. But let him show us something so then he got hurt his first after he got the $137 million, $72 million guaranteed. Got hurt a game and a half into the season. My whole point was let him do something first. That's what I say about Danny Dimes. I like Danny Dimes. I like Daniel Jones. I like the nickname Danny Dimes. But does he deserve it? No, he does not deserve it.
Don't you think folks were overcompensating?
So I don't really want to hear what you have to say, Molly. But I understand what Stephen A. Smith is talking about with the nicknames. You have to earn your nicknames. You have to earn your keep. But on the same time, that's not really the issue for me. The issue is don't treat this guy like he's already won a Super Bowl or he's the number one quarterback for the organization for the next 15 years because he's won one game. We got to give it some time. Give it more. You need a higher level of evaluation than if I forgot what I'm trying to say with that. But what I'm saying. As far as the nickname, I understand what he means with that. But at the same time, the nickname's not the issue. The issue is treating him like he's already won Super Bowl, and he hasn't. So let's continue.
Because they were so terrible to him when he got drafted, so New Yorkers felt guilty.
Well, I would say that. And the other thing is that he was certainly a better option than what Eli Manning had regressed to. We get all of that. But what I'm saying is, the issue in question about folks looking at these guys is the hype that comes associated with you before you do any damn thing. And the fact is he came in, you play a game against Washington, you play a game against Tampa, where he really showed out against Tampa. He had a really, really good game, and he showed for the first time in 14 years that the Giants had a quarterback that could actually scramble. But in the end, when we look at him, we still need to see more. I look at a Kyler Murray, and I'm saying to myself, he is miniature in size. That is the only thing you can look at him and say, I would prefer Danny Dimes over Kyler Murray.
I don't want to act like I'm the first.
So I don't necessarily know about that, but like I said before, if I had to choose of the two at this point, I would go with Kyler Murray because he's two-dimensional versus one like Daniel Jones. But they're both still rookie quarterbacks. There's still a lot I would like to see from these guys. That's why I like to reserve judgment until the end of the season. Maybe even to the year number 2 to see what type of quarterback these guys are going to be. But as far as talking about now, and if I had to choose, I would go with Kyler Murray over Daniel Jones. And as far as the nickname thing, the nickname's not the problem for Danny Dimes. That's not the problem. The problem is treating this guy like he's the next best thing since sliced bread for the New York Giants because he won one game or he showed out that he can do, pretty good for a little bit. So, I don't know. Let's continue.
Person to say this. I'm not trying to present this as a new idea, but shouldn't we be looking at Pat Shurmur as it relates to Daniel Jones? He has lost more than twice as much as he's won as a head coach.
Hold it. You really asking me that question? Who's been all over Pat Shurmur?
That's why I prefaced it. I'm talking about with respect to Daniel Jones. He has a head coach whose play calling yesterday was curious, let's say. 3rd and 18, what play are you running for who? Saquon Barkley? Why would you do that? And then in terms of the way the team is coached up itself, the Giants defense couldn't do everything about that game smacked of bad head coach. In spite of, this is not Cliff Kingsbury who got imported because of the quarterback you were going to draft, so it's a perfect marriage. They got the head coach first thinking this was going to be the guy. It wasn't. They then bring in a quarterback the coach believes in, do something with him. The Giants should have won that game. With a better coach, the Giants win that game.